Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars. Ghosted is the brand new Fox comedy show that stars Adam Scott and Craig Robinson, and it is a 30-minute episodic show that bases itself on the cross between paranormal and supernatural events, and it kind of feels a bit like a blend up of the X-Files and Men in Black, kind of. And what we get here in this very first pilot episode is we have the two main characters, Adam Scott and Craig Robinson, Max and Leroy, and they are both working fairly ordinary jobs. Max working at a library, and Leroy is working as a security guard at a shopping centre. And they are abducted by the secret underground department that investigate and search for paranormal events, UFO events, all that kind of stuff, and it's their job to investigate and find answers in relation to things like that. And these two guys have been taken by this government department because they think they can help, because in their previous jobs Max was a professor, a very, very intelligent professor, who lost his job because they think he'd gone mad because he kept claiming his wife was abducted by aliens. And we have Leroy, who used to be a police detective, who left under a cloud from the police department, but he had a reputation for being the best in the business at finding missing persons. And this underground department has got a missing person, basically. One of their lead detectives, investigators, has gone missing, and they believe both these people can help, so they're sent out, and they basically say to them, they dangle a carrot and say, if you help us, we'll get you a job back as a professor, and if you help us, we'll get you a job back on the police department. So they both agree, but they're not really expecting some of the things that they're going to walk into. So this first episode focuses on them investigating and trying to track down this missing agent. And things get a little bit strange and supernatural and confusing a little bit too. That's the gist of the first episode. Now I think the two leads here that we've got are both very, very talented comedy actors. And I think the one thing I certainly got from this very first episode is they both had very good chemistry together. That's for sure. And they did generate a number of laughs, from my perspective anyway, in this first episode. And the main negative I have from this pilot episode is it all felt a little bit rushed. They set everything up very, very quickly, and these guys were just sent out into the field, and you were just a bit like, that seemed a bit fast. They took that all on board pretty damn quickly. But I suppose they wanted to get the ball rolling. Now, I don't know what kind of laughs they were aiming for, but this isn't side-splittingly funny. It's not. You're not going to be crying with laughter watching this. I certainly wasn't. I had some decent chuckles. There were some half-decent funny moments in it, but I do think there's a lot of scope here for this show to grow. I do think it has potential. I think the 30-minute time slot is a sensible decision. I think if they just spread this out to longer episodes, I think they would have struggled. Although saying that, I do think this first episode would probably have benefited from a longer, maybe a 45-minute episode for the pilot episode, just to set things up a little bit more, so that it didn't feel just as rushed. But saying that, the effects that we got in the first episode are half decent. I do think this could very well be a fun and interesting show. That's it. There's some good talent involved here, and with Fox behind them, it's got a good pedigree. So I think there's potential here for a decent show, and this is a show I'll probably keep dipping into to see if it sticks. It's not a show that grabbed me deeply on this first episode, but I think it's a show that will probably fairly quickly gather a pretty strong fan base. So this is certainly worth a watch, I think.